wonder if going over to kiss my wife is any kind of— Ah! Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor is a game that takes place in Tolkien's Middle-earth. More specifically in the land that's within the metaphorical and probably literal Shadow of Mordor. In this game we play as Talion, a man who was killed but not because sleep ritual went wrong and the spirit someone that amassed murder to make someone make Talion invincible. Which neither are too happy with. Confused? Alright, here's a short version. Dead, not dead. Dead, not, try to die. Get it now? No? Alright, so let's go pick some shrooms and herbs. Oh wait, the armies of the 2 millennial threat are back and they're currently invading Gondor. We could either aid the nations of men, or we single-handedly try to stop an army of destruction and their master. Sometimes I hate being ambitious. I'll have to feel some uglies. And rat bag. The Urks. The corrupted elves of old. They're mean, they're green, and they do not like beans. What's the difference between an Urk and an Orc? I don't know, man. But I do know that if they are immune to range, then use the good old 1-2 impale. Or the good old impale. Or just punch them. Or throw them downstairs or take your grand ran. Or the kitty cat. Or the big kitty cat. Or burn them. Or poison them. Or mind control their friends. Or pop their heads. Or suck out their soul. Or kill their bosses to terrify them. Ooh. So eventually, after enough time passes, some Urks will realize that better weapons than actual armor is kind of dope. Kind of like Ratbag. And thus, they become a captain. Getting a title in the process, such as Caragor Tamer, who is definitely a better character, so watch out for anyone who—
Man swine! You won't get away this time, my sweet! Even if you run, I'll be at your back!
The captains are many, and they're even meaner and greener and— Actually, I think that's animal dung. The captains are the big boys. Sure, the war chiefs are the big boys, the reports are the big boys, but the captains are the gears that keep this moving. Actually, then I don't know what the basic Urks are. The captains are basic Urks that somehow got promoted to having a sharp stick instead of a plastic ship, and thus going from to twig, with a whole power level of 3. And if there's one thing my old teacher taught me about Dragon Balls, is that level 3 is enough to kill Tiger or one of these. The rest is history, since you are never guaranteed to have a and apart from mission specific captains, we got quite a bit of diversity. We got basic dudes that are basic. We got shields that can only be hit from behind, archers for whose attacks you may not be notified, hunters that are archers who say they can fight back, berserkers that are shields but they replace the shield with an axe and a headbutt. At first you know nothing about these guys, you either randomly find one or you find one of the many events and then see what's what. Once I went to an ambush where a captain got taken out by grunts, a feast and then an execution all in 10 minutes. Alternatively, you can be smart and find a worm and you can interrogate them to learn of a certain captain's strengths and weaknesses. If you like range or stealth attacks, then I hope your enemy isn't immune to those. Like to actually damage the captain? Sorry, but he's enraged by pain, so now he's even tougher and you can't grab him when he's low. Pray you never find a defender or berserker who doesn't let you jump over them. Or you never go down from a captain with no chance. Do weaknesses exist? Yes. Are they more common? No. The captains are all randomly generated. There's no said this guy was a renowned slaveholder and that's why he's a slaver. Or he rose up from a basic run, that's why he's called the meek. Nah, it's random. Okay? But they're still great. Yeah, we got the basic I'ma slash you up, but there's still some great dialogue that isn't independent on your adversary misses some brain cells.
I'll make you dead!
Like over here, we got a cat with a crossbow going 1-to-1 against the Caragor, and his title is The Brown.
Nice teeth! Mine are sharper!
Not gonna ask. Okay, there was also this guy called the Crusher, who did use a spiky hammer, and he talked about smashing me, so at least it fit the name. Well, okay, maybe great is a bit too much, but hey, diversity is diversity. And our sword doesn't discriminate. It eliminates. Except for Ratbag. I've met an archer named Grogburner, Grog is their beer, who had a torch for a helmet, an evil eye, who said I only need one eye to see you, and that was before I have this vision, a messenger, who did indeed carry notes and a poison weapon, for some reason. Hey messenger, I have a message for you. Can you fly? I'm sure he won't be coming back from that on.
Finish me off by throwing me to my doom, eh? Not so easy! I'm back to finish you off!
Oh yeah, right. Sometimes the captains might survive dying, and so you may be sure to go find a captain only to see someone with a poisoned weapon and carrying message.
Ranger! It's the Ranger who thought I was dead! I'm gonna enjoy making you squeal!
Let's hope this time he stays dead. Point is, there are a lot of captains. Sure, you will get bored eventually, but come on, the armor's cool. And don't tell me you're not partially entertained by the idea of a chef-looking dude fighting with a bone, going toe-to-toe with a Nurg dual-wielding axes. You made it way farther than the guy who died to a broken sword at one hit, or the archer who died to one arrow. And no, neither were the assassin that wasn't immune to stealth and used a crossbow. Welcome to the Shadow of Mordor. That's not what it's called! A beautiful land filled with greenies, meanies, slaves, Uruk outposts, history stuff for us and our Wraith friend. Times 2. If the nature doesn't get you, the new inhabitants will. Whether they be out and about on a patrol, hunting, standing on guard and talking smack about you, ratbags and captain, or boasting about themselves.
Only I could get close enough to Ratbag to give him a try.
Watching over Grog, guarding the slaves, or following their captain. Wars in the slum it may be, but the first time you fight a captain and get discovered by a second one with a couple lurks trickling in from here and there, it's not like the real danger will present itself. And don't get me started on the garrisons. That alarm is the bane of anyone's existence. If you're not the patient kind, then I'm sorry. The boy's your best friend, but you can't move bodies and the others react to that. Not to make that explosive at your friends. But enjoy the sights on the elevator, and in the ayahuasca. But our mission is still to reclaim the lands of Gondor for Gondor, or at the very least slow down the forces of Mordor. But how is one guy, a single guy, supposed to start up an army literally bred for this? Talion has to be taught that jumping on someone with a sword is more effective when you actually use the sword. Transcending time and space to smack someone's ass is better when you do it efficiently, and one of the very first skills in the game is stab good. By the way, did I mention his dagger is his son's broken sword? Yeah, he's using a broken piece of metal instead of even a kitchen knife. This man is a ranger captain of the main bastion against the second in command of the god of evil. It took the ancient elves how much, and now the human kingdoms have to stop Sauron all on their own? The remnants of the Black Gate depended on a traumatized ex-father, a bunch of malnourished slaves led by a fugitive, a lady who is 500 years old and her fisherman, Gollum. Okay, the dwarf hunter was actually really cool, and I wish we hunted dwarves with him. But it would have been better if they were all ratbag. Okay, the slightest fighting back was actually a really cool detail. Would have been better if it was several ratbags fighting back. The fact of the matter is that despite our friends being, I hope to inflict any real damage, or get to the big boys, and get revenge on the big boys, and then Sauron himself. If only there was some way to use the Urg's brutality against each other. Kinda like how ratbag helped us ascend the hierarchy. One ring to rule them all. We have no ring. And one war chief to be betrayed because his bodyguards are mine. You know what I don't like? Urgs. You know what I like even less than Urgs? Urgs that aren't mine. You know what I do like? War chiefs appearing in the Urgs chanting their names. Remember those strengths such as HP regen? Yeah, that'll come in handy. Especially since an Urg versus Urg fight is about as engaging as two people jousting on mobility scooters. And just some skin to boot. You like someone? Grab them. You hate someone? Send your new boy after them. There's a war chief you want to take out? Well, guess what? He's getting himself a new bodyguard that definitely won't betray him. Here's an example. I watched over a duel between the Literary One and Corpse Eater.
Threaten me! How the things I'll do to you?
Well, dress for the job you want. Of course, the guy with an actual weapon won, but the other dude did do some damage. Forge's Literary One was now mine, but another time I was a bit more sneaky. See, I grabbed some intel on the wise. This dude's nothing special, so he's out. But look here, the duelist. Weaknesses only apply to me. He's strong, his followers, defender, so blocks attacks, and uses his shield offensively and can't be feared. If he had rage or HP regen, he might be unstoppable. Welcome in. The Nemesis system is a system that Nemesis is. What do I mean? I do not know, unless you respond confusingly. That is the Nemesis system. Miller of Shadow of Mordor. Italian. The Nemesis system is a system with which the world dynamically reacts to the player's actions. If I go on Assassin's Creed and assassinate someone, then it best will be mentioned in a future scripted cutscene or they are interesting characters mentioned by an NPC. If I go on Batman Arkham Asylum, then the goons mention Batman by name because of an already established reputation. In Shadow of Mordor, Italian is a nobody. He woke up from the dead and everyone, including hims, are confused as to how. If a Grum was to kill Talion, then he would be promoted to captain. But Italian reapproaches him, then the captain won't give a generic "I'ma cut you up," but instead reply with, "Wait, didn't I already kill you?" That's the Nemesis system. It remembers who you faced, and for the living, what you did. They remember and they react. If you just met, then at best you will be called the Grey Walker or the Ranger by everyone. But if they come back, then they will remember how they survived or either one of you fled. Or if you attack with stealth range attacks first, then they will respond to your cowardly tactics. And thus, Tiro Gray's got a measly 19 hours of footage from this game. And only half that from the second game, and that one's bigger. Minus the fact he's still streaming these as a recording.
Shadow of War. I mean, it is, but I just mean it might have started. I don't know if it started.
Memories of my childhood. Miller of Shadow of Mordor. Italian out of a rat bag. The game had a lot going for it, the next installment only improved. I disliked the fact that the abilities were dependent on the hit streak instead of a bar, because all it takes is one misclick or one missed hit or being hit by someone in a mosh pit for it to go away, and the only AoE ability can't do much for you, so I hope you brought arrows. The amount of time spent to unlock the branding ability was a bit too long, not to mention you just unlock it out of thin air. Even worse for the ultimate abilities, since those can only be unlocked by the end of the game. This kind of ties into a bigger problem with the game, and that is its difficulty. If there are some games where the difficulty is curved, then here's a mountain rage. One of the first things I did after starting the game was kill a captain within the first 5 minutes of taking control. The only difference between him and the last captain I killed was that I didn't have the execution ability and he had less HP. It's nice when they get a bit of resistance to your stealth or range attacks, but 99% of combat can be explained with mash attack, knockdown, stab, repeat, maybe shoot. Throw in an execution here and there. If there's a ton of Urgs, then alert it to an explosive or fire. The only other option is to fight them in a mosh pit, which isn't fun and may not even be that difficult, or you go and disable all markers which indicate an enemy is about to attack, including the range attacks from way beyond. Granted, you can also never level up focus and health, but I didn't max out that or my weapon runes and I didn't die once in the game. In fact, barely if ever did I come close to being on low HP. So the difficulty in this game is a strange beast, and there are no higher difficulties. There's just one. I'm not joking when I say I got Shadow of War, and immediately I went to hard difficulty before starting my first ever game way after I finished Shadow of Mordor, and I finally had the challenge I was hoping for. I will not talk about the padding of the Nemesis system, but for now I will appreciate it before I head off to the next game that has been improved in nearly every aspect. Kinda like young me when I was playing this on my birthday, and behind me Stinkeio and Le were playing GD or whatever as I was being slapped around by the albino mole rats in search of the one who's only remembered as Douche the Chunky. Good times. Unlike Metallian had his back broken. But you know who also has his back broken? The homie cat and rat bag. Actually, wait. What is doing everything? He has now become War Chief. So now he's homie chief Rat Bag. No Rat Bag! Sauron will pay for this treachery against the homie chief.